Alright, so I've had a few people ask me to make some kind of video about how to set up a UI. So this is essentially my UI. It's kind of balked because I normally put in a 21:9 aspect ratio and I've put it down at 1080p for the video so I can put it on YouTube. So a lot of these bigwigs bars aren't where they would normally be. But when you're configuring your boss mod, first thing you want to do obviously is toggle these anchors and put the messages where you're gonna want to see them. I think a lot of people use weak auras to compensate for giving them information because they don't know how to use their boss mod properly. I mean, essentially, when a lot of the mistakes people make can be prevented by having an effective UI, which gives them information they need. A lot of the time, that information needs to be obvious because you can't spend a lot of time working to get that information. It needs to be readily available, but it also needs to be attention grabbing because sometimes you do zone out. I mean, you look at what we were doing last night on Prog, on Stormwall. Some, people will do the C-swell right 20 times in a row, and then they'll just get clipped by it and killed because they lapse in concentration. So, I mean, a lot of the time people will use, weak auras to give information for the raid. So a good example would be like a weak aura string, like the Battle for Dazalore one that just come out. I would normally have that more pinned around here, but it's just been moved because I've changed the resolution. So just scrolls in and shows me mechanics as they're happening. And whenever something goes wrong and you go, no, fuck, I got hit by that thing, you go, okay, I'm going to get a weak aura that tells me when that mechanic is happening so it doesn't happen again. But the thing is, I think a lot of people realize that your boss mod can only do this, and we all have them. They're just underutilized, and you should use them. So what you want to do is when you get hit by an ability that kills you and you didn't know what happened to you when you're on prog, instead of just being like, okay, well, I'll just do better next time, what you're going to want to do is make sure that you understand that there's a reason why you didn't know that. So, I mean, like, for example, when we were doing Stormwall on normal, I had an issue where I wasn't getting the information from my boss mod of who the Valkyrie, the Siren was targeting, and so I'd charge over and start hitting the Siren, and then I'd find out the Siren was targeting me. I'd be right next to it, I'd jump off the edge, and I'd be killed. Obviously, that's unacceptable. So I needed to configure my boss mod to make sure I got that information. So instead of just dying, chalking it up to luck, and being like, oh, get it next time, you're going to want to make some kind of proactive change to your UI to make sure you're getting the information you need. Because if you got killed by something that you didn't know what it was, that's a failure in your UI. You're not getting information. So in Bigwigs, assuming you've got your messages put in the right position, I have my text countdown and my emphasized messages somewhat centralized. These bars, you can really put wherever is convenient for you. They just track the mechanics that are coming, etc. And some people like to use a weak aura, which is called faux raidability timeline, and that essentially actually just hooks in your boss mod and gives you a icon timeline where the icon starts and it will slowly work its way down the timeline and stuff. And that can be a neat thing. I know a lot of people use that now. It's quite popular. But for your boss mod, what you can do is you go to your raid bosses, and for this instance we want Battle for Azeroth, Battle for Dazalore, and you want to find the boss that fucked you up, so you'll go to Stormwall Blockade, and then it configures here all the information that you get. So the first thing you want to do when doing any progression boss is go through and turn off stuff that doesn't matter to you. Like, if there's a kelp wrapped, right? Tank alerts only. Now, Bigwigs will do this by default. DBM, not so much. DBM tends to spam you with a lot of information that you don't need in a rather obnoxious way. That's why a lot of people don't like it. But you could turn this off if you're a DPS player, because you never need to know when the tank's getting hit by kelpweed. It's just a dot they get. Why do you care? It's just excess information that clutters up your UI. So you want to go through and you turn off everything that doesn't apply to you, and then you want to have an understanding of the things that do apply to you. I need to know where Sea Storm is. I need to know when the sirens are coming, Tempting Song. I need to know when the sea swells are. And then stuff that really matters to you as an individual, you're going to want to go in and configure it a bit more. So this is sea swell. You saw I just clicked on the arrows to go in and change the configuration for sea swell. So I can emphasize this to make it so instead of just being on my bar counting down, when this ability comes up, it'll switch to my emphasize bar and it'll send me a message in the emphasize message, right? So I can have these separated bars. I can pull the important things off these bars and put them onto these bars. What I can also do is emphasize mechanics that only target me. That's not a good option for C-Swell, obviously, because when I said stacked, we're putting a big puddle down, but there can be like a run out thing, like if we're big, like an opulence, when you get the gold buff, you got to run out. You emphasize if it's targeting you only. That could be a good option. But what you can also do is configure sounds for it. Now, this is what people often use weak auras for. So you can go to the sound option here, tick the sound there, go to the sound option, and then you can configure all these sound auras. These are the same sound auras your weak auras use because the same sound files. You got your air horn, whatever else you want. And this is attention grabbing. So if you die to C-Swell, even once when you're doing prog on a boss, and you die to it one time because you're zoned out, you weren't concentrating, immediately in between the wipes, you come into this, you go find the boss, you go into the ability, and you put a sound on it. That's attention grabbing. So if you do happen to have a lapse in concentration, you associate that sound with it. The sound grabs your attention, and you don't make the mistake again. Now, if everyone had done this last night, I guarantee you that we would have killed that boss at least 6 pulls quicker than we did. And this shit matters a lot for prog. So I want to see people using their boss mods a lot more effectively. I might get Marco to make a video about how to make weak auras to solve certain problems. I mean, he made that weak aura for our Mega Talk, which is not a trivial weak aura to make. But I think people are very quick to go and grab a weak aura. They say, oh, I died to this mechanic, I'm going to get a weak aura. But your boss mod can already do this. It has the functionality, and it's very quick. You saw how that. You go bigwigs, you go raid bosses, you find the boss, Summer Blockade, you go down the ability, C-Swell, you tick a bunch of boxes. It can take 10 seconds, and it doesn't mean you have to go to Wago and then import something and then maybe share it with other people and be like, hey, everyone, grab this weak aura for like the 10th time in raid chat while you wait for everyone to get it. No, you can go and do it in between wipes. It's very quick. I like to see everyone doing this. It will minimize errors. Use your boss mods. TED Talk out.